at his club in Bedminster, New Jersey over the weekend. And among the people who came yesterday was Rudy Giuliani, who spent quite some time there. If he is still in the mix for a top position, the former New York City mayor would face a long list of questions, especially on Capitol Hill, about potential conflicts of interests. Giuliani has been dogged by questions raised by his business career as far back as 2008 when he sought the Republican presidential nomination. For instance, 2006, he collected $16 million from both consulting work and a number of paid speeches. According to the New York Times, that year Giuliani earned $10 million from 108 speeches he delivered in 11 different countries. In one single month in 2006, he gave 20 speeches alone. And according to the Wall Street Journal, Giuliani regularly appeared at events for an Iranian opposition group known as the
that was a terrorist group, right? I'm not really good at this stuff, but
well, this is where
you got money from, like, they were a terrorist group.
Our worlds collide, Joe.
What do you mean?
Because it was on the terror list until Hillary Clinton.
Person that crooked Hillary
became Secretary of State.
Did she give a speech? Maybe she wanted to go give a speech. Maybe Bill Clinton wanted to go give a speech.
It's so
this
bad.
group, so she took him off the terror list.
This is the kind of thing people actually go into and say they don't want it in Washington anymore.
Yeah, is Donald going to call Rudy Giuliani Crooked Rudy now? Or terror taking money from former terrorist groups?
I think you ought to call him Rudy out front, because he's always out in front of the president-elect, always out in front embarrassing him, always out in front talking about everything he's been offered.
This is a political nightmare for Republicans if he had to go through those hearings.
There's a very strong chance that he would not be confirmed. We were talking to people on Capitol Hill last week. That was the sense that Rudy, if indeed Trump puts him up as a Secretary of State nominee, would have the most difficult confirmation battle of anybody.
It'd be a bloodbath
on Trump's roster.
It'd actually be worse than Jeff Sessions, right?
Oh, far worse than Jeff Sessions. I mean, at least Jeff Sessions gets the customary senatorial courtesy. Rudy Giuliani doesn't get that.
Yeah, Rudy would be a bloodbath on the Hill. Question.
But is there anything that Donald could give Rudy? I mean, Donald does feel obligation to Rudy, because Rudy was out there more than anybody else.
Yes, there's something. Eddie shouldn't tell him, because Rudy will go around telling everyone, because he's out front.
But is there anything?
Rudy out front.
Is there anything that Rudy would be interested in short of Secretary of State?
No. Don't say
Not initially. He boxed him in by basically.
Well, and that's the thing, Mark. You just said it. It was such bad form. I mean, I got to tell you, I don't care if my mother wanted to be Secretary of State, and I could appoint her Secretary of State. If she went out and tried to box me in, I go, Mom, I love you. I'll see you at Thanksgiving. But that's the only time I'm going to, like, because you're not going to be working in my administration.
Aww.
You don't box people in like this. It was classless. It was a move. And you look at, I mean, Crooked Hillary, forget it. Crooked Rudy, he would get picked apart on Capitol Hill. And again, Donald Trump has selected Steve Bannon, and he's selected him, I mean, for his reasons. He's already bled out for Steve Bannon. If he wants to see a real bleeding out, pick Rudy Giuliani as Secretary of State, and he'll be bleeding out politically. Donald Trump will. For the next 6 months.
For someone.
And the confirmation questions, we've just scratched the surface on the things that would come up if Rudy Giuliani went through an FBI background check, and there's more to his business dealings that hasn't been part of the discussion so far.
Like what? Because there's a lot there. As a reporter said, that shag carpet is deep. And you start putting the shag carpet rake over it, which I know, Ed, you have one just like me. A lot of stuff's going to come up.
So the way he's conducted Rudy Inc. since he left the public office has been a robust enterprise.
Mm-hmm. That's a very polite way of saying.
Yeah, that's a nice euphemism. That's a euphemism.
Crooked Hillary. Forget Crooked Hillary. Everybody's going to be talking about Crooked Rudy, and it's all going to reflect back on Donald Trump, who at this point needs to understand he doesn't owe Rudy anything. Rudy came to him after he already had the nomination held, after he was, like, when he was winning New York by 40 points. Wouldn't even bring up his name early on in the process when they kept asking him, well, who do you think could win? And he wouldn't even bring up Donald Trump's name. So do you really want to bleed out politically for the next 6 months for a guy like that, and who, like you said, doesn't even get confirmed in the Senate at the end.
Yet his name is still under consideration. I don't think we should count Rudy Giuliani out at all. There were two.
He was there for 4 hours. I'm sure he
he'll let
wouldn't
us know
leave
today.
yesterday.
There were two people that